What's up, Laura? You made it. Today's gonna be totally different topic. Going a whole nother lane. I like to explore a different experiment. It's gonna be. I'm still at work, of course. It's what, 1:30, California time. Figured. Today's gonna get a little disgusting. It's gonna get real disgusting. Nasty disgusting. Just gonna let the room fill up for a little bit. And it's not even gonna get into that deep, like as far as psychological thinking, psychological terminology, it's more like a dysfunctional topic. It's something that's happening rampantly right now. Rampant. And I know someone that kind of got caught up in it. And I'm going to discuss the whole elaboration of all that. So I'm just letting the room fill up a little bit. See who, because I don't, you know me with the repeating myself thing. Thank you for the hearts. Just giving it some time though. How was your 4th though, Laura? Thank you for everybody coming through. Excuse me. Shit. But you had to go to work, so that means you couldn't have stayed up too long. Kind of sucks. Mine I spent it with a friend of mine. Actually, a friend of mine had invited me 2 weeks ago to his house. And he invites me to come over. This friend of mine, he's a millionaire. And he shows a lot of gratitude towards me. I'm up at 5. And I go to sleep at 11 sometimes. Sometimes 2 in the morning. As you get older, I feel like you don't get that much sleep like you did when you was younger. And you need it more now than you did when you was a kid. But allegedly, those are the times that your growth stages and days come in, right? So my friend, he invites me over 2 weeks ago, and he's asking me, come by. He has a pool in his house and whatnot. I was like, I don't really want to go anywhere, like the whole with traffic, everybody being outside, being loud, etc. And he throws parties. Like, he's the main DJ. He puts all the music on and everything. So I go over. If you want to chat. So he invites me over. I go over. We're hanging out, and he has these 2 friends of his who come through. I've seen them at a concert, and they were hosting the whole concert. So this couple, they're like a dynamic duo. The woman is very intellectual. The husband is aware, smart, guy's precise. And just had a deep, maybe about 2-hour conversation with both of them. At the table, we was eating. And me, I just like to nitpick different minds and people who come from different lanes and journeys of life. And just to see how people's perspective is. Remy, you made it. You wasn't gonna miss this one, huh? You wasn't gonna miss that one. You said nope. Today's gonna be a different one. It's going a whole nother lane today. What movie you went to see? Was it the Minions? Probably came out today, right? I think it came out today. Want to take Soraya to go see that? I think it should be good enough now. Let it rack up a little bit. Remy, you already got a glimpse of this story. You know the end part though. So, thank you for the love. I'm gonna start. I was talking to a lady. She works in the OR, the operating room. And she goes to tell me that just last week she was forming a vagina. And her doctor was cutting and making a path inside a gentleman so that it feels like one, right? So now this is actually going on rampant, continuously, and it's becoming something of the norm, which I start to think of what kind of dysfunctional individual are you to go to the extreme to change your sex that you were born of? Like, what kind of trauma have you experienced? What kind of mentality or what happened to you as you growing up that makes you want to change your sex? Like, how much can you really hate that in particular sex, or how much insecurity, how much, it goes in from trauma, or it goes into how much pain. Like, I don't get it. I've heard that people wrap like a string that the genital of a male turns purple, blue, black, and it just, the circulation of it just cuts it off. Those are for the ones that can't afford it, right? But anyway, just to go through that whole process, just to go to that extent, to go change your sex. Number one, are you going to be honest with every individual that you deal with and tell them that you used to be a man? Are you going to lead these gentlemen on without even informing them, being authentically true and telling them that you did an experiment on yourself and got a surgical vagina, right? So, and then on top of that, you're in competition now with women in general, right? They're in competition with men. Like, the whole masculinity, feminine, and the whole alpha is been removed. Something really has to be going on in that mind, that mentality, for them to go to that extreme. For you to go and cut your genital off and become a female. So now you have to go through all these surgeries. You got an implant now. You have to start taking hormones, because in order for you to produce natural, right? So I'm talking to her. She's telling me that she's in the operating room and the doctor's doing his thing and she's shaping. So I didn't really get into the detail because I didn't, I was already like, I don't want to talk about that. Change the subject. She was like, no, I know, it's just that it's just crazy how that her doctor, the guy that operated, told her to go and experiment it to see if it works, to see if it feels, etc. To experiment. And within 2 weeks, so this was a couple of weeks ago, because she told me it took, in 2 weeks, it slept with three guys, three different guys. So that male, that woman is gonna move like a dude, right? Because it still has, you can never give birth to kids. Like, let's start with that. You can never be something that you were born. You can't learn the strategies, the mentality, the ways of a woman if you wasn't born with those instincts, those ways. It's like you're creating something that you're not. Oh, here you go. So when I spoke to her and she tells me all this, I'm like, damn, like, what kind of... And I don't want to be judging, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't know the person's story, what they went through, what they've been through, and what's the purpose. And I believe that sometimes those people who experience that, like a guy wants to be a woman, and this is just my assumption, in the past life they were a woman, and that part of them is still stuck with them. So going forward, that they want to change to their old way. That old version of themselves is living inside of that version of today's self. But you cannot change who you are. At the end of the day, you're kind of like trying to play God now, right? Because you're changing sex. Why would you go to that extreme? It's just people really dysfunctional and really got a lot of mental issues out there. I've come to that conclusion that a lot of people just need to go see a psychiatrist, man. For real. Just need some mental stability and mental health. It's real. People going through a lot of, and specifically men, because we're not allowed to speak, be vulnerable, and have that open space, because we're quick to be judged, we're quick to be pointed at, and we're quick to be looked at if it's weak or weaknesses. Excuse me, as a weakness. It never fails. But I believe it's me manifesting that nonsense. So women and men, because we'll look at the man and be like, yo, yes, that's some sucker. That's a sucker move. That's some, like, you got some real problems. So a man won't be able to open up and express himself, right? So he won't be able to be and ask questions or whatever it is that he's going through. So that's why a lot of men commit suicide. But then again, if they try to open up to their woman, their significant other, she's quick to point the finger at and make him look like he's inferior, insufficient, and not worthy enough and not good enough. Whatever it is the case may be, I'm not saying that he wants to change his sex as an individual. I'm just saying mental health, as far as men go, it's a real thing. And it's not to discredit or disqualify or say that it's not something that's real for women either. I think that as far as women go, it comes from a place where they were molested, raped, sexually at home. And it starts and resonates with a lot of individuals and females out there where, yeah, that's the thing. I told my boss's son, because he's in he's early 30s. I said, if I was you, with the females you start to interact with, because he goes to the bar, ask for baby pictures. Not for nothing. Ask for baby pictures. Because at the end of the day, like, really, was this thing born a female? Like, but thank God I'm not out there like that. So it's beautiful thing that I'm not out there. So I have a friend. This happened to them about 2 years ago. And he was interacting with a female. He's interacting with a female, and they were talking for a while. So I think she had a boyfriend at the time. So they disconnected, and then eventually she came back around, and they started connecting again. And she was throwing herself at him constantly on a regular basis. But he said he wasn't sure, something wasn't right or whatever. His vibe wasn't feeling it. He just followed his intuition. He said that she would constantly invite him over. He wasn't sure about it. He was like, nah, you know. For whatever reason, he passed on it. Fast forward, he said something that she confessed something in reference to the relationship when she was the guy she was dealing with, that she couldn't have kids. So keep that in mind. Fast forward, he says that he doesn't want to mess with her, but she constantly is consistent pursuing him. But he dodges those bullets like, nope, 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 not interested. It's too far. It's too far. It's too far. She ends up sending him a video of herself. It's a little X-rated, right? Whatever. She has female parts. She ends up confessing to him later on, and she says, I hope this doesn't jeopardize our friendship. And she confesses that she was born a guy. Mind you, this is a published female. A female that's published in magazines and all that. So she's a legit model. Hey, Yoli. That's if you're face to face in pictures. You can't really tell because they can manipulate the picture. So you can't necessarily tell unless you're in person. Because in person, you start to see the structures of a person, right? I'm good. How are you? Yeah, but you've seen probably a low budget one. You know what I'm saying? If you've seen one of them high end that they take out all bone structures and everything, it's totally different. They make that look way better than a female. The difference when a guy, his intuition is, he sees one, he says, it's too good to be true, so it gotta be fake. Because at the end of the day, when it looks way better than a regular female, nah, it's, no, it's just not right. Like, you just know. Is that so? Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. It's dysfunctional, but it's all mind conditioning, right? Like, but anyway, it's just something that I wanted to touch on, and something that was totally different than what I usually do in reference to relationships. I want to get away from relationship topics. It's disgusting. I wouldn't even watched it. That's too much time and too much energy being wasted on watching that. Like, why would you want to watch that? Hell no. It's interesting. You have a curious mind. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what I mean. Anyway. Curiosity kills, though, man. So it's just bug. It's kind of like what, and I try not to be judgmental, because at the end of the day, you don't know what somebody's going through, and you try to save that space and allow freedom of expression, freedom of choice, freedom of will, freedom. It's all about allowing somebody to have free will. And I always teach my daughter, mind your business, Don't get involved. Don't interfere with other whatever else that's going on around, whatever is that's going on around you. Because at the end of the day, one, are they putting food on or clothes on your back? Are they putting food in your mouth? Do they put sneakers on your feet? Do they feed you? Do they put a roof over your head? Do they put a pillow and a bed to lay on for you? She says no to everything. I said, exactly. So the only person that you're supposed to worry about is yourself. Forget everything else and forget everybody else. No one else exists. Keep that in the back of your mind at all times and always. And on these lives, you guys only get like 30% of who I really am. I try to keep it to a minimum. Thank you, Laura. You ain't gotta do all that, Laura. You know I don't do all that. Here it's more about being the student of life, in the school of life, because this is what we in, right? And it's try to educate or open people's minds to see, so that they can learn and understand what's really going on around you. Oops. I don't get it. I don't get it. I guess I'm not normal. In order for you to be normal, you'll get it. Because I'm not normal. And I never want to fit in. And that's one guaranteed. I definitely don't ever want to fit in the same. I don't want to be on the same bus. I'd rather be on foot than everybody else being on a bus. No. If that's the fit in crowd, fuck all that. I don't want to be in the fit in following and be part of the masses. I want to always do something different and totally different than what everybody else is doing. Life. Or is it people's mentality that's crazy? But you gotta ask, what is it that's going on around them that has people thinking and acting a certain way and manner? Because society has an influence as well. Right? If you think about it, society plays a big part in how you think, how you act, and where you end up in life. Unless you become mentally aware, consciously, if you become conscious and aware, and you work on your mental health and you heal from your traumas and your wounds from your past as a child, you start making affirmations. You forgive, forget, release, and let go of all the hurt, all the pain, and all the wounds people have caused you, and you let that go. That's where you start. That's the beginning of the healing journey. So this person must have been traumatized, resentful, bitterness, has hate in his heart, who is now a she. Do you really think they'll ever really find happiness? No, because they're miserable. Because if you just look at people's way of thinking, acting, and doing, that'll let you and tell you and define and give you the person's way of being, thinking, and if they're really genuine. Because if you treat yourself a certain way, you treat anybody in the same. That's the standard. However you treat yourself is how you treat others. And how you treat others is a reflection of how you treat yourself. It all comes back. Full circle, 360. But people don't see, I thank God that I picked up the gym, because the gym is actually what actually got me started to read. So the gym as long as I've been in the gym is as long as I've been reading. And that kind of information I just grasp. And I'm like a child. I have a mentality of a child that I absorb everything, and I take it in, and I remember it, and I put it in the deposit in the memory bank, and whenever I need it, it comes up naturally. It rises, it rebuttals, and it comes and bubbles out of my soul. So it's already been written, established, and memorized in the back of my mind. And there's some writings that I've come across that I've written in the past that I look at it and I read it and I'm like, I ain't write that. But I know that's my higher conscious, my higher self. Because we're all particles of God. And if you don't real, whether you know this or not, you're a walking God. You're powerful, magnificent. Your aura is, you have so much value, you have so much potential, you have so much greatness within you. You underestimate yourself and think that you're living in lack. That's because you have placed that limitation in your mind. You're living in poverty is because you have a poverty mindset. You living in fear is because you have no courage or confidence within yourself. You live in the circumstances and situations that you're living in and conditions because of your mindset. If you don't fix your mind, you can't fix your life. It's very simple. But it's a process, right? You just need that guidance. For those who don't know and understand and get it. So it's just like a lot to think of when it comes to the things that people are going through mentally. And that's your entitlement. And you're always going to keep that. And that's your title for life, right? People say that they have an identity. Their identity, do they know who they are? Because at the end of the day, people, you ask them, so who are you? And their identity is found in their job title. That's not who you are. That's what you do. People don't know how to separate the two. Somebody asks me, oh, so what do you do? That's what I do for a living. Who am I? Not just the child of the Most High, but God Himself. But not the God. That's the difference. The God is the most powerful energy that is filled and full of excuse me, unlimited, limitless, infinite, boundless ether of love. Because it's the most strongest, most powerful force in the universe, right? And how you heal through your wounds is pouring love over those wounds by forgiving, forgetting, releasing, and letting go. You are powerful. Your mom is very wise woman. Your words, right? They come from here and they get deposited into your heart. Your heart is the echo of your hearts. The words that you speak is the echoes of your heart. Now, the mind and the heart, they need to combine and be united as one. That's when you start to actually walk in the fullness of who you are. Yeah, exactly. Life is just a mirror of your thoughts. Everything starts internally and is projected and reflected externally. So we live in an interior world that is reflected and projected back into us, reflecting back in the exterior realm. The exterior is actually just a manifestation of everything you ever believed, thought, and your beliefs, which actually becomes your truth. So your mom, God bless. And she's with you, always watching over you, protecting you, guiding you. And those opportunities that you've seen happen for you, that's your mom protecting you and always making sure that you're on good ground. She wants the best for you. Yeah, man, you're giving me chills. I get this impression that she loves you a lot. I don't know if I should say this, and I don't want to sound like a fool though, right? Idea, hi. Nicole, does a black vest resonate with you? When it comes to your mom and you want to have those moments of connection, open up, have a private space. I don't know, I'm seeing some with a black vest. I don't know who that photo. I was gonna say, yeah, when you want to have that moment and speak to those who transition to the next, per se, the next realm, right? You going to events, conferences, or you just doing that journey on your own by reading? Just asking. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. CEO, you're late. I'm about to get off. But whenever you want to have that moment in time with your, for example, with your mom, how was Dubai? Usually how it works, right? You go through a healing process, and in the healing process you actually start looking, and it doesn't become religion, right? Religion restriction makes you judgmental. Spiritual is more open-minded. It's an open vessel. How was vacation? So whenever you want to take that time to speak to your moms, just open up your heart. Close your eyes, open up your mind, open up your heart, and vocalize whatever comes to mind, and act like she's in the room. Nicole, by the way, act like she's in the room. Have that conversation and see what happens. But you gotta silence, turn your phone off, or put it on vibrate, put it away from you, and whatever, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Try to do that when you're awake, fully aware. Because at the end of the day, if you know the truth, when you asleep, your body, your spirit, your body stays here, but your spirit travels. Your spirit travels to other dimensions. And sometimes you come back with information that you don't even realize or know where you got the information from, but that's revelation, because your spirit went and traveled and absorbed some information and it brought it back to you. It's something for you to have learned, exposed, and understand before time. It's usually how it works. I remember 18 years ago, I would hear all the time, there's going to be a rude awakening. Like, rude? Like, why rude? Why is it not just an awakening? And it was like, it's going to be a rude awakening. And I still don't get it, but I know it's an awakening is happening to a lot of people. But I used to hear it a lot 18 years ago. And that was the language I was being exposed to, and that's what I was being informed by. And I didn't understand it. And who am I going to talk to about it? Right? Like, who you talk to without looking like you need to be in a psycho ward with a white jacket and zippers, right? Talking and saying that there's going to be a rude awakening and all that. I'm sorry for the loss. And sometimes people think that when people pass away, that they leave angry, bitter, resent, and all that. That doesn't exist in a human being. And it does exist in a human being, but it doesn't exist when you pass away. Because at the end of the day, they don't have a mind like we do. We have to think things through. A spirit just does things and it just happens. They don't have to think like the way we do, have to process, go through emotions. They're just full of love and want the best for you. But we have too much emotion, anger, resent. So it's like a whole list of either functional or dysfunctional, depending on the individual. And that's what you're going to be resembling. That's what you reflect. That's what you project. Why? How? How do you get kicked out? From what? From work? From the room? But why though? That doesn't make any sense. I only did that once, but that was a long time ago. To someone in particular. I'm not sure if you was on that live that day, but that was a while ago. Probably. Oh, look, Jazz. Hey, gorgeous. Don't allow they resent you for not being there, right? And for whatever reason you have, is probably legit for not being there. But don't let that hurt stop you from building a communication, a relationship, even though she's not here. But if you take that time, light up a candle at night. This is what I do, and I light up a candle at night for my ancestors to say thank you. It's more like a gratitude candle, more than a request. So I just say thank you for for example, the 24 times I almost died. I don't speak on that. I don't highlight that. I don't glorify that. But out of the 24 times, well, I went to Danny Morel, and I seen him last year. I went to one of his conferences, to one of his events, and they do this breath work, right? The breath work actually revealed to me that I have a great 1, 2, 3, 4 great grandfather who has been protecting me since I was young. And he's actually my first guardian angel. And then from there it became my great grandmother. Then it was a grandfather / great grandfather and a grandfather, great grandfather, great 4 times, and my great grandmother, and another, my grandmother's sister. These 5 protect me. I got 5 who walk with me all the time. And I noticed something was odd when I used to go to a hardcore gym. This gym is my home. I would never reclaim another gym otherwise besides Richie's gym that used to be out in Brooklyn. And I went there for 13 years. And I used to notice that when I walked by these big, massive, huge, I'm talking about looking like the Hulk, right? They used to always inspire me and motivate me because I used to be like, yo, I want to look like that when I get, when I reach to that stage. But they would be afraid of me. And I never understood why. I'm not sure if it matters what color. So what was I saying? I light up a red and a white one. Red is for the men that walk with me, and the white is for the females. That's the way I do it. And I got this impression a while back to light up at 10:10. So that's a significant time. I don't even know what the meaning of 10:10:10 means. But where was I? I put in a lot of time into my spiritual work. Oh, back to the gym. So I remember it's at 10:10 p.m. I don't know what the meaning. I know it's an angel number. I just don't know what the meaning is. So when I used to go to the gym, I used to see these big, muscular, talking about the Hulk, would be intimidated. They would be afraid, and they wouldn't talk to me. They just stood away from me, and I always wondered why. As time went on, I started to come to the conclusion the angels that walk with me are protecting me, that intimidate people. There are people who could sense it. There's people who can see them. They will never confess it. They will never tell you why. They will never tell you that they do. But there's people who do see them. And when you see people's reaction, that's when you know that you're vibrating on some next level, right? Oh, wow. You know what else? Another number that I always see? I always see my birthday. And I asked a friend of mine, and they were like, it means new beginning. It means a reminder of new beginnings, everything new. I'm sorry for your loss as far as your son. That must have been tough. But I see the ones, I see the twos, I see 111, see 222, and I see sometimes 3, a little bit 4, but I always see my birthday and 111 and 10:10. It's 20 years ago. That's tough. That's sorry. They say that you ever take that time to have a conversation with them? By Jazz. Thank you for stopping by and holding that down. Appreciate it. You ever take that time to have that conversation with them? That's tough. But I'm about to cut off. I don't do no more than an hour. You couldn't even do that and put a picture up. As long as you can have your own memory, right? Like a little bulletin with pictures full of when someone passes. The best thing you could do is have the most memorable good times, the laughter, the joy, and the love, right? It's all about living life to the fullest. It's about experiencing life to the fullest and loving life. You don't have to put it up, because I know you probably only put it up either on birthday or anniversary of passing, as a remembrance, and like you will never forget, obviously, but that can be a challenging, difficult thing. I'm going to start doing, I'm not sure when, I'm going to start doing one-on-ones where I'm going to start doing one-on-ones so we can phone call, do either a mastermind class eventually. So I got to organize and create a program. That's my next move, and start branching off and moving towards that, because the amount of wealth and information that I have, I know that it holds a whole lot of value, and eventually I'll let everybody know. I'm still in the process of trying to get it all organized and stuff. And if anybody knows how to, please shoot me a DM. And if you're interested in doing the one-on-one, shoot a DM. Let me know if you're interested or not, or whatever the case. I mean, interested. Yeah. I'm about to sign off. Laura, my heart condolences, my love. Nicole. You silly. I'm not gonna put my real number up anyway. In the call. It'll be through Google, like a Zoom. But I already know we had. But anyway, if anybody just interested, just let me know, reach out. I'm going to start creating a mastermind where it's a corporate, and it won't be at this time. It'll probably be at a different time during the week. See what's convenient for everybody. If it becomes a mastermind class, and go through a journey of once a week, but some real compressed information. Yashira, that's a different name. Pretty. God bless. When it comes to creating and seeing if creating a mastermind class eventually, then we're gonna work on in that, have some manifestation techniques, some healing techniques, some prosperity declarations. So it's gonna be a little bit of a thing. You're welcome. So I'm going to work on that. That's another project. Mind you, eventually I'm going to be in the process of working and doing on a calendar. That's number 2. Then I'm going to create and put out a book. That's going to be a third project. Then I'm going to do the apparel. That's going to be something else. So don't think that this hour is just, it's going to be temporary. I'll do a pop-up here and there after, But once I create that mastermind class, I won't be having time for this. But I'll pop up here and there. But I'm going to be really focusing on the mastermind. See who's interested. And then I'm going to throw in the coach, as far as coaching, life coach or trainer. If you just need workout routines, that's going to be another thing. But if anybody interested, just feel free to DM me. I'll answer you right away. Unless I'm caught up with my daughter. That's totally different. Faith, hi. I'm signing off now. But yeah, so I'm gonna be trying to do that now. I'll work on that and see what happens and see what direction I'm gonna go in. Yeah, I'm signing off now. I was just saying that I'm gonna start creating a mastermind class and all the other projects that I have in mind that I'm gonna have to actually start taking action. And that's it, because I've had these things in mind for the longest, and no more just having a blueprint without no action behind it. It's time to start living it and start taking action behind it, and not just having these pivotal ideas that I'm not doing nothing with it. I have been working on it, but I just don't know how to create the format of it. So, but like I said, if anybody's interested in that eventually, or the one-on-one, just feel free to DM me and ask questions, and more than willing to go forward from there with that. But everybody else, just enjoy your weekend. Fake, thank you for coming in at the last. Laura, my apologies. Nicole, your mom. Keep that connect live if you're still on. And thank you for everybody that stopped by today. Appreciate it. Of course. But I'll put it up on YouTube. I always put it up on YouTube anyway. Everybody enjoy your weekend and have a good one.